Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, East Bay Stamp Chick. This is Michelle, and today I am here with another project share and tutorial. So wait, once I show you the project, I'll show you how to make one. And I am smashing a paper pack. It's a 6x6. It's 49 on Market Art Options Spice paper pack. And this came with 24 sheets. And what I have left, and I consider this smashed because I used a lot of paper, which for me is really good. So this sheet has some things you can cut apart on the back, which I chose not to use, but I could use in the future. I still have one complete sheet of paper that is super pretty, so I definitely want to use it on something, who knows what. And then I have one sheet that I had cut wrong for my project. So definitely still usable for something. I'm not sure what, but I will keep that. But I'm feeling like this is smashed. And if you've been watching my videos, we've been trying to smash paper collections every month. This was not one that I chose to smash, but I just felt inspired, and so I did it. And I'm so excited because it was quick and easy and fun. So what I made are two squash books. I had never made one before, but I thought they looked really cool. And I loved that it used big pieces of paper, which for me is fun. I don't like little itsy bitsy pieces. So let me show you. If you don't know what a squash book is, it squashes down. Okay, so it's an accordion almost style, and it squashes up. But you have lots of room for photos. I didn't do a lot of decorating because the paper is beautiful, and also you need this to get a little bit flat. So like stickers would probably be a really great way to embellish this on the inside because they would lay so flat. But I don't have those in my collection, and I just thought the paper was great by itself. So you have to let me know what you think. So this would be perfect to put a photo on the front, that little framed area. And then this, I mean, this is huge. This is a big one because I used 12 by 12 paper. So I can't even fit this whole thing on the screen. So I'll have to show you in sections. But it completely opens up. And you have big areas to put nice size photos. And then you have these over here that are really great for smaller ones. You could, I didn't bring my ruler here, but I'm sure you could do a 2 by 2 on here, or maybe a 2 by 3 would fit, you know, easily in these sections. You could also put plain paper that you could journal on if you wanted to, and put big chunky photos. So let me just kind of move this along. You can kind of see. These are also really cool because you could hang this on a wall, and this would be really nice, like a wall decoration. This is probably about 3 feet long, and you know, about a foot, I guess, because I use 12 by 12, so it'd be a foot tall, or actually maybe 15 inches tall. I'm not sure on the diagonal how much what the length is. I did not put any paper on the back, but because you don't want it to get too bulky. So this completely squashes up, and this is kind of hard to show on a camera because it is so huge, but let me see if I can kind of do it this way. You can see how it just easily, the fold lines work pretty easy and just squashes. Okay, so yeah, now I made this one, and then I didn't have a lot of paper left, so I made a small one, meaning that this first one was 4 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. And this one, open this up, is 2 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. And so that just left me with what you saw, 1 full sheet, actually kind of 2 full sheets left, one because I cut wrong, out of that 24 pack. So basically I used 22 pieces of the paper to make these 2. These are super fun because you can put photos that go with your collection. Like this is fall, so pumpkin patch photos of the kids, things like that would be great. it'd be really easy to mail this in a padded envelope to like grandparents with, you know, fun photos, or to, like I said, you could do some journaling on here plus photos, and then it would fold up nice and neat, and you'd be able to keep that, make it a nice little keepsake. And you could pin these on the wall really easily and do like a wall decoration with that. So these are fun. I like these, and using 6x6 paper on these was fun for me. So I have a lot of 6x6 paper pads. This will definitely be a project I will continue to do. And I wanted to show you how to make one. There are other tutorials out there, you know, to make these. So, but I thought I would just show you real quick. I am going to show you with 8x8 paper because that will show better on my screen versus trying to do a 12x12. I thought it'd just be easier. But you could do any size. So you can make these 6x6. If you want tiny little 3x3 books, 8x8s will go into a 4x4 book. And then your 12x12s go into 6x6 books. So I think it's easier to stay with the even numbers, because then when you cut your paper, you're cutting it into even increments. If you start doing things like 7 3/4, then you got to deal with 1/8, like 5/8 or 3/8 on your cuts, which if you're comfortable with that, then that's fine. But if you just want to make it simple and not have to really think super hard, stay with your even numbers, and that will just make life easy, I think. So this book will be 4 pieces of 8x8 paper. I like to use 65-pound paper for these books because you're going to be layering and you want them to fold up really nice and flat. And so if you start getting into your 100-pound and up paper, that can be really tough. You could probably use 80-pound paper easily with this, and that would be the thickest that I personally would use. So this right here is 65-pound paper, and so were my other books, and they're just the 65-pound paper from Michael's Crafts, okay? So all of them get scored in half both ways. So this is 8x8, so I scored on the 4, turned it, scored on the 4. If you want to do 12x12 papers, you're going to score on the 6, turn it, score on the 6, okay? So I've already done that, and I've already made one, and I'll show you how to get to that point. And I'll show you how to glue them together. It's really simple once you see it. And then if you have a problem getting your corners straight, use your scoreboard to help you do your corners. So you can really pop those in there. Because it is important in this one, it'll fold better if your corners match. So really try to make that happen. I like to fold them a little bit both directions because this book has a lot of movement, and that just makes it, I think, a little bit more flexible. Just checking my corners. Okay. All right, one more. So we're just folding in half both ways. So you really don't have to use a scoreboard if you don't want to, or you don't own one. You're folding the paper in half both directions. Okay, so in half, in half. Now to be able to create this piece, you can see it gives you 2 squares that form triangles, right, on each side. To be able to create that, we're going to take corner to corner and fold in half. So I like to match up my corners here. And you can use your scoreboard to help you by shoving that into that corner. And then use your crease tool to get a nice crease. And that should line up right in that corner nicely of your scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, you're still just folding it in half. In this one, you really do want to make sure, like, you want to make sure that those corners match up nicely. Okay, so once you do that, I'm just going to fold it the opposite way a little bit. To create the squash, I'm going to do, let's see, this line here where you're creating the triangles needs to fold in. So you can see how you should be able to grab the corners, pull that in, and pull it down, and this tip matches. They just fold right into that. Then you can fold those down and squish or squash. So it's a squash book. And then use your bone folder or a pen if you don't have a bone folder to kind of get those nice creases. And that is your paper. That's your fold. Okay, so you can do as many of these as you want. You can make it as long and as big as you want, or as small as you want. So you saw that I did one that had 4, and I did another one that only had 2. Okay. Okay, so again, I've got this line that's making those little triangles in the square. I'm going to bring that in, line up those points, hold it with your finger, and then squish it down. Okay, and one last one. And this is the same no matter what size you make. So everything just gets folded in half. That's all this is. Just checking my points. They look good. I'm gonna fold that a little bit. There. Okay. It really doesn't matter what side you decide to fold this into. I flip them all around and use whatever side I want. Okay. So now I have 4 of these. Okay. Get rid of the scoreboard. I'm going to bring out my little board here to glue on because it would protect my work surface. You can use glue, or you can use double-sided tape, adhesive, whatever you want. You just want it to be strong because this is going to be moved a lot and you want it to hold together. So whatever you use, make sure it's strong. So I'm going to use glue. You're going to pick one square, and it needs to be a square that does not have a diagonal fold in it. So it could be this square or this square. Those are the only ones. And you're going to put your glue down. I like to keep a little bit of distance from the fold because you don't want glue in your fold. I'm going to take this one, okay, and they're going to slide together. And you want to get it close, but not go over your score lines or your folds. Make sure your glue does not end up in those, and then pop that back in, and it should line up really good. It's not going to be exactly perfect because you've joined 2 pieces of paper with those fold lines, but it should be close. So now see, just easily squashes back together and pops out. Okay, so that gives us 2. Now we need to add another one. And I'm going to, you can add them on the front one, or you could add it on the back one. It does not matter. Excuse me. So this is going to slide in right here again. So I'm going to put glue right here and leave a little space between the fold. And then I'm going to slide that right in. And you just want to be careful that you don't interrupt those score lines. So you shouldn't be able to slide it in too far because, you know, the sizing, right? Okay. So now I have 3. Okay. So you want to do one more. Now it's going to go in like this. So I'm going to put glue right here. So just make sure you're not gluing any of the squares that have your diagonal fold line. And you want it just to slide in. You want to get it in there as tight as you can, but not cover the score lines. You want it to line up good. There we go. And that folds right over the top. Give that a good squish so the glue adheres. Make sure it doesn't go over your folds. All right, so that is all set. And I have 4 pieces of paper joined together. Okay, I like mine to open with this square opening on this side, but that's up to you how you want to do it. So that would be my front. Now, you want to add patterned paper to this. I'm not going to do that for you in the video, but I am going to tell you to do a square on here. You want, because this one is 4 by 4, I like to do is a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now you could do a 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 if you don't like much of a border. I like a bigger border. So I would do 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 for my square on here. When you do the squares that have the center crease and they're basically 2 triangles, you cannot put a square over this because you still need this to bend. So you need 2 triangles. What I have found works the best for me, instead of doing a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square, I would do a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And that will allow me to have space on either side of this score line. So it will fold easily and it will keep the same like framing. And let me show you in my book here. So when you look at this one, you can see I have space between the patterned paper and the fold, the little score, right? This square was a 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 that I cut on the angle with my paper trimmer. But this square over here, which you know has the border all the way around, is a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Because you're cutting it down the center, it's going to be a little bit smaller to have that spacing. Okay, and that's what works for me. If you can make a 5 3/4 work on this, that's fine. What you will find though is all your borders will be smaller than the border on this one. So if you want to keep all your borders pretty much, you know, equal, you'll need to do this one 1/2 inch smaller than this one, than the 6 by 6. So these are 6 by 6 squares on this one. This is a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square. This is a 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 square. So for this one, these are 4-inch squares. I will do a 3 3/4 here and a 3.5 by 3.5 here. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions, but that's a quick tutorial on how to make these squash books. So you can put that ribbon to close them, or you could do a belly band if you wanted to. Just make sure you allow space that you can still add in your photographs and things, and the belly band will still, you know, slide off and on. But that's it. I'm so excited. Another paper pad smash stash here for me. And the extra pieces are just going to go into my little scrap envelope and be there for the future. But that's it. I really enjoyed this project. It was so fun. So let me know what you think about squash books. All right. And this is a collab with the Paper Stash Smash. So definitely check out the other ladies who are doing this, the other crafters. My February 1st video does give you the complete list, so you can check out everybody with links. And if you like crafty inspiration, don't forget to subscribe down below. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.